guys, Tom here with New Life Automotive. I've got this 29 Chrysler collection of parts that's pretty much looking like a car. The last few videos I've been doing a lot of body work, getting up, trimming up a lot of stuff. I finally got the primer. It's to the point where I can fix up the last little imperfections here in the paint and get the primer so I can paint it. The car itself is a long ways to go to be finished painted. I haven't done the fenders. I haven't done quite a bit of stuff. These gaps here, I've got the doors for that. They're all rusty. There's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. I need to take this hood off. I need to get this firewall bondoed up and painted. I didn't do the inside of the door jambs. It's still got a lot of work. But I was just so excited to finally get it to this point where I'm just getting sick of Bondo. Today I'm going to take you around and show you what needs to be done to this for the next step, and show you what I missed on this second coat. So stay tuned. Well, the first thing, which is why I haven't done it, is I got to take all these bolts out across here. I got 8 bolts in the back of this. We got 2 and a couple plates here. I need to clean up that square area. But what needs to be done is I got to get everything off of there and finish up whatever little stuff I got on this firewall. Bond up where I welded it across there. Got to take out my steering joint, and I got to prime this. These doors I have to just sand and prime them. Right up in here, you can see I missed just a little bit of fixing this corner. It's not quite straight. I've got a little bit of sanding right there. I have some long sand marks in this that's got to be fixed. This is pretty good right here, but I do have some little tiny imperfections like here and there, right up in this corner. I gotta fix this door a little better. I can see a little ridge there. It needs to be sanded out. Back of the door is pretty good. I've got a little bit of pinholes right here in this crack. This is a high where this was welded. I can't really do anything about that. I'm not going to try to. I've got a little pinhole right here. I've got a pinhole right in this area. On this, I've got a little bit of high right here in the corner. A little bit right back here. This needs to be cleaned up just a little. On the hinges, I've got to clean up this area right in here. This is going to be kind of hard because it's hard to get into. This door section here looks good. I have to pull the lock out of this thing and finish up the bondo around it. I've got a little bit of cleanup to do right in here where this joins. If you look at it from here, the bottom of that door, I need to run a board sander across it, make it smooth. I'm going to clean up this a little bit where the fender goes on. I just do that with sandpaper. The rest of this is pretty good. Looking at this from this angle, you can see I've got a little bitty dent there and a little curve there. I need to put plenty of Bondo on the bottom of this and then round this off perfectly well. I've got just a little bit of excess Bondo right there. The corner of this trunk, I've got a couple little tiny places right here. I've got just a little bit. This lock plate, I need to put a little more filler in here and blend this into the trunk better. I've got a little bit right in here. There's a little hole. This section turned out good, but I didn't quite get this sorted out, and I can see here on the bottom of this it needs more Bondo. So basically I have to Bondo up the bottom of this trunk, sand it off flat. Got a little bit of stuff right in here. Up here on this trunk I've got a place where I missed it with Bondo. I've got a couple little tiny holes in here. I've got a little place here that needs to be filled, and this curve needs to be cleaned up. Up here I've got Bondo. I didn't really get that sanded off. This area's got a kind of a high right here and a low here, so I need to do about 4 or 5 inches of this over. Down here in the bottom I've got still a little low right there. This corner needs to be cleaned up a little better. Probably the same with the bottom of this door. I need another coat of Bondo on it. I've got some right around the lock here. I've got some little pinholes that need to be filled. This door right in the corner, didn't quite get that sanded good enough. Up here in the front, this area needs to be cleaned up. I've got a little bit left right in here. This front edge just needs to be sanded a little better. Maybe a little bit of fill in there. I've got a little bit right in here. A little tiny hole right there. Looks like this just needs to be sanded. It just painted roughly. This little place right there has got to be cleaned up. And then I got to get this hood off and clean this hood up good where those bolts are going to go. And I'll put new bolts and washers on it. So I'll finish painting this off of the car. This area is pretty good, and I've got a kind of a dented place showing here. I think I'll just fill this whole area right here. I can't really pound that in. When this was all forced together, this middle had to give somewhere, and it gave right there. I may try to pound that out and get it a little straighter. Just sort of knock this high in and then fill that until I've got a pretty smooth curve across. Got a pretty nice even curve to it now. there. So basically, it's a whole lot of little stuff. Nothing big. The car overall looks real good, but unless I do this stuff, I mean, it looks good from 5 feet, but I want to fix these little details. So that's what this video is going to be. It's detailing this, some of the work that's going to be done to do it. Well, I decided to go from the big to the little. This little dent right here. It's actually taking a pound. Let me get a dolly back there. It's actually kind of hard to get anything in here. The floorboard and stuff is pretty close. That's pretty good. Really need to not so much take this hide down as get it from the back. Out. I don't know how I can do that. Get it from the inside. There we go. That looks pretty straight. Better than it was. Now I'm going to rough this up with some 40 grit so the Bondo sticks. Yeah, that's a lot better. Looking at it from the top. Looks much better. Rough it up and Bondo it. Well, here we go again. Got it all sanded off. Was hoping I'd be through with Bondo, but don't look like it. Trying to mix this up good. I should have put some honey in it. fast here. I better get it on. And I'm going to try to take it from...
There we go.
Now that's pretty good. Looks a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and stick some 80 grit to it, simply because that's what I have on the board. Well, that looks pretty good. Got a pretty nice even curve to it now. And that dent area is gone. I think I can probably do this with a glazing putty, but I did see that there's quite a bit of hole right there in the door, and this pipe is straight, so I'm going to cut this pipe off at a 45 and put some Bondo spreaders in there. We've got a little weld right there that's got to come out, and just mix up some thin Bondo with a body honey and get on it. Notice I'm having trouble breathing today. It's awful hot. So if you hear me gasping in the background, don't worry about it. Well, in my anxiety to get it all painted, I forgot some details, like I hadn't really quite finished working on this door here. And the bottom of this door needs some work. So as I was moving along on this, I sort of found that, and I welded a little piece of square steel in there. Now I'm going to try to build up the edge of this door with the spreader trick. I can't do a whole lot to this part in here because that's hitting the back of the door, making this hinge bend so it won't close right. So I'm going to have to tape that to keep Bondo off of it, and then I'll space it out and put some more Bondo in. Hopefully that'll fix that door. Well, the first step was to try to build this corner of the door up, which I did. And then I'm trying to make this as strong as I can in here, so I ran a little bit of tape in there to keep it from getting on anything else. And I'm basically trying to, this is a little inside, so even if I have to build this up right in here, I can put quite a bit more Bondo right there on the outside, and it'll strengthen this little corner. So that's what I'm going to do now, is cut this out, and I'm going to try to fill that whole place in there, bring that door out some more, put even more Bondo on it. Yeah, recording. Well, I managed to fill that up. Still bring out. Probably have to fill this panel up just a little right there. It's looking pretty good. So I need to clean up my edge here a little bit. I put tape back here so it wouldn't go onto the body itself, but I think the level's good, and I've got probably a 1/4 inch of Bondo there. No metal or anything in it. Feel that it's coming out real straight. Looked like a little bit of a high was in here before. So that's all fine. Make this whole panel across here more straight. So that's going to look all right. And of course I use my Bondo over here on this stuff, cleaning up this. I don't know if the camera's showing it, but I cut the end of this thing off. I whacked it here, and fill this up with Bondo. I got to round it off a little, but it looks a lot better than that straight piece. So anyway, I'll go to the inside of the door and we'll see what we got to do about fixing this jamb now. Well, what I did was clean up all the inside edge there on both the door and the frame, and I put a lot of Bondo up in the corner here and along this edge, trying to see how much I can get in there without interfering with the door. It was still wet. Put a plastic bag in there and slammed on it. I don't know how. This is kind of getting dry. Probably going to have a lot of wrinkles in it from the bag, but I know that I got to trim it to the outside of this door. So this is going to tell me what I got to do. Let's put the camera down here a second. Well, the bag fell right off. So a lot of Bondo went here on the bottom and up into this edge. And pretty good there. This is way thicker than I thought I was going to get away with. And I can trim this bottom off. I really don't need that much on there. I'm just taking it at an angle. Yeah, I gotta fix the bottom of this door. Now, take a little off of here to get that straight. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, the next thing I'll do is sand this down till it looks pretty good, and then I'll fill this area with Bondo and slam the door again, and that should give me something real close to a matching seal. Well, this time taking a little different approach. I got 6 or 7 layers of tape in here and on the bottom. Should be plenty to give me a nice space, and I'm going to fill this whole area here with Bondo and slam the door, and that should give me a pretty tight fit in there, and then I can open it, won't stick to the tape, pull the tape off, and I should have pretty good sized gap. I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. We'll see. I only got a pretty good squish on it. A lot came out. I just tried to clean that gap up real quick while it was still wet. And I'll take both hands to open the door. Now it's tight. Here we go. And you can see what happened there. Got kind of a round spot right in here. This didn't look like it was really contacting anything. So I got my shape there, so now I can clean this up for appearance's sake. And if I pull my tape off of here, you can see there's quite a bit of it on there. I just didn't want it to stick to this fresh Bondo lip here. This is all good. I'll clean that up while it's still kind of soft. Use both hands here. Well, there we go. It's all filled up and pretty even, nice and smooth in there. Looks like there's a hole, but it's not. It's where it touched the high spot. There is a little hole right there, but a little glazing putty will fix that. And I sanded up in here just a little bit. Need a little more. And but the door closes good. I still got a good gap. This dent's pretty much gone. So I'm calling that a success. Now we'll just continue to polish up this dent. I need to board sand it. Probably put one more coat on it. run a little sanding down in that door gap there. This part will be done. Well, there's this one panel done, and close to the end of the day, but I got it all sanded in 80 grit, well, almost all of it. I fixed up some bad matches here in the bottom, cut that piece off, tapered it. That looks a lot better than it did. Fixed up a little bit of stuff in here. I still got some to do, but door opens with one hand now. This corner looks pretty good. This corner's like 3/8 of an inch thick. It's really not hitting anything, and it's tapered from here all the way back, from here to there. I still have to work on the bottom of this door. Haven't really laid down to look at it, but this section's good. I started working on this. I didn't get to that place, but I did sand the top of this door with 80. That'll be the next thing, is to primer all the inside. This looks like it's battery died. When I say it looks like it's really thick Bondo, it's really not that thick. Probably about half that thick. The other half is metal, but I covered the door. It's not right at the metal, it's past it some. Feels like I got a little lump right there I could take out. Yep, I can see it here. Do that while I'm thinking about it. And then I'll continue getting all this stuff done. All this I'll finish up sanding any little stuff in here. I still have to put a seal in here to the roof, clean up this, and get the door jambs, everything ready to paint, because I have to paint the door jambs before I paint the car. Otherwise, you try to paint a door jamb after the car is painted, you get overspray all over it. So another few minutes work on this door and it'll be good. And then this was the biggest dent, and I'll squirt all this stuff where I repaired it, or where it going into the metal with primer again. There's no use primering the whole car, just where it goes into the metal. I forget where the other dent was. There was another dent in here somewhere. These little weld marks in here, I'm not going to do anything with them. Anyways, the video's getting long. Well, it's really tempting to go around and fix everything on the car, but I just stayed here on this door. I had a little crack in here, so I chiseled that out a little bit so it's got a good rough spot. Need to put some Bondo on that. I got a little chip right here. This is could use a little love, and I'm going to use the putty on that. The top of this door here is pretty good, but it can be filled. That icing is a lot harder than Bondo, so I'm using it for these little repairs.